Hello, Dr. Archer Crossley, and welcome to Real World Pediatrics. So today, I wanted to talk about losing weight again. Now, about a week ago, I talked about losing weight. We talked about the necessity of decreasing your food intake about 10% every 2 weeks. Of course, that's just part of the solution to losing weight. The bigger battle is the mental battle. It's important that you remove yourself from the culture of eating. We live in a culture of eating. Our whole society revolves around eating. Our holidays revolve around eating. Our social relationships revolve around eating. It's almost impossible to escape eating. Now, because we're having a good time at Thanksgiving, Christmas, other holidays, we're out at a restaurant with our friends, we have come to associate eating with a pleasant experience. And it is a pleasant experience. What gets conditioned in the brain, though, is the idea that the more you eat, the happier you are. Who doesn't like Thanksgiving? I don't know about you, but when I eat dinner at Thanksgiving, I'm eating 5 meals in one setting. It's a carb fest, and I love it. But this is conditioning my brain to want to eat more and to associate eating with having a good time. And yet, you can have just as good a time by limiting your food intake. The FBI is not going to come in and arrest you if you don't eat like a pig. Now, this conditioning is what makes it so hard to get off the culture of eating. But knowing that we've been conditioned can help us overcome our addiction to food. One question we need to ask ourselves when we are having that feeling of wanting to eat is, am I really starving? Do I really need to eat to live? Or am I merely eating because it's lunchtime and I have been conditioned to eat? If we want to lose weight, we have to conquer our minds. It is our mind that controls our body. And for many of us, we don't eat because our body demands it. We are eating because either we are bored, tired, or anxious. And many times we eat because we feel the need to justify being on vacation. Well, we're here in Las Vegas, we may as well have a good time by eating. Or it's Thanksgiving, we're supposed to eat. Conquer the mind and you conquer the body. When you learn this as a parent, you can teach it to your child. Don't eat because society tells you to eat. We don't need to eat the equivalent of 5 meals on Thanksgiving. Okay, I got to tell you this one story that happened to me on Thanksgiving. It has nothing to do with food and has nothing to do with anything except that I thought it was a pretty good story. So I went over to my sister's house for Thanksgiving about 20 years ago. I'm a pretty old guy. And you know how it is when you're visiting on holiday, you walk into the house, you meet everybody, you sort of chit-chat around for a little bit before you sit down to eat. Everybody's talking, everybody's drinking a little, eating some little cheese crackers and stuff like that. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Well, after settling down inside the house, I walked over to my sister's coffee table. And on top of the coffee table was one of these little carousels with some porcelain horses on it. I think it came from the Franklin Mint or something like that. You've seen these things. They were very popular about 20 years ago. So I reached down and I moved the wheel of the carousel just a little bit, just a tiny bit, and the horses moved around like a real carousel. Now, there was about 6 horses on the carousel, could have been 8, and the thing was about 10 inches tall and 10 inches wide, and it was on a revolving ball bearing base. So as the horses moved around, I said to myself, wow, that's pretty neat. So I moved it a little faster, but not too fast. And it went around in a circle, just a gentle little circle. So again, I thought, wow, that's really cool. I wonder how fast I can make this thing go. And so I looked down on top of the carousel, and there were these little bars, about 4 of them, that went in an arc from the top down. So there were 2 that went this way, and then there were 2 that went that way. So there were 4. So I positioned my finger, both my fingers, on 2 of the top bars that were diametrically opposed to each other, and I went, whoom! And then it was as if the film of life stopped. It was as if someone had spliced the film of life. Everything stopped. And then when the film began, I looked up, there were all these shattered porcelain horses lying all over the living room in smithereens, man. And everybody's face in the room was like this. What can I say after that? And that's how our Thanksgiving began. Thank you.